I think the defence, that really sort of allowed us to, build on what we were able to do, put on the scoreline, I guess. I think the fact that the boys had to fight through 2 real strong or long periods, I think we sort of kicked it and we ended up having 7 set tackles and they rolled down and camped on our line for a while, and it was just the resilience. I was really proud of the boys, the fact they fought for each other, and I've seen that since I've been around the Kiwi group. There's a special bond amongst the group that we want to keep building, and I think the resilience that the boys showed and then turned that around and got the points, very pleased.
In addition to that, a lot's already been made about the performance of the spine. What was your assessment?
I think the forwards laid a pretty good platform for them, and that's part of the game. Obviously, they were able to sort of build momentum, but to see the spine perform, Brandon Smith, he hasn't played hooker pretty well all year, and he was outstanding. Just the way he just rolled the forwards onto the ball and then took his opportunities, and then obviously to see Benj and Sean off the back of that, and Roger to be able to connect. There's a special group of men there.
Dylan, there's obviously a lot of emotional heat out there in the middle once kick-off happened. What was your message from the outset to try and weather the Tongans or weather?
We're at the start of the game. Yeah, it's just more or less what we got to focus on what we need to do, and building pressure and playing down their end. So I think that was the main message that we took out of it, and if we can get ourselves right, then it could give us every chance to win the game.
Yeah, and you obviously weathered the storm, but there were points where there was a bit of frustration from a few of the guys, chirping in, and then the refs were getting, there's a lot of that sort of conversation between yourself and sort of halves coming in too. But to get through that and keep the discipline on defence, how proud are you of that?
Yeah, very proud. I mean, I was out there watching the boys and doing everything I could out there, and Madge touched on it and how it was. I feel it was our defence that won us the game, and the way we defended our line was in periods. Those 2 periods was what won us that game, I feel.
How satisfying is it to get one back over what happened?
It's not. I guess it's always good to win, but we got big things ahead of us, and we need to continue to build. And we've got a good leadership group here. We've got something special like Madge touched on inside our camp, and if we can keep building on that, who knows what we could do? And the sky's the limit.
You are building, but you wouldn't have handled a second consecutive loss to Tonga, so it was crucial to make a point tonight, to make a statement.
Yeah, you always want to win. Like that was our goal this week. If you don't want to win, you're in the wrong sport. So that's what we always want to do, and we did that tonight. And it was a very tough game, and as we touched on, it was the defence that went a long way to winning that.
Do you feel the team are continuing to evolve and to play the way you want them to play? Is it every next play is another step towards that? Yeah,
definitely. I think the improvement that I can see in this group, obviously I get to sort of have training sessions with them, and off the back of our tour, it was really good to see how they came together and the way they came together very quickly. So I think the more time that we can spend together, these teams, as Dal said, it's the sky's the limit really in what we want to achieve, and the expectations of each other is definitely higher now than where it's ever been too. So they're the things that there's a lot of things from that game that we'll take which are real positive, but I think one thing about the group is that their understanding of where we're trying to get to, and that's the focus of this group, which is a real pleasing part for us, as myself as a coach.
The last 10 minutes though, do you sort of think about the game's in the bag, or do you worry about the couple of tries?
I think I've got a senior group there that understand what needs to be done at the back end of the game, so I think I was more pleased about the fact that we showed what we're capable of, and we've just got to continually work towards that. We've got test matches at the back end of the year, and another big game against Australia, and then a couple against the Lions, so we're going to have to be better defensively moving forward, but also too in our attack. There were a couple of little areas in test matches that might be one player that might be the difference, but the boys were able to weather that tonight.
Michael, you talked about Benji Marshall. We saw him very emotional and crying during the anthem. We also sort of couldn't get his boy after the game, which was quite nice during the game. But about how he was able to compartmentalise, I guess, that emotion and still turn out really. Yeah,
well, we spoke about it as a group. We spoke about it, and as an individual, I spoke with him about that, and I knew there was probably going to be a bit of emotion there. The jersey is very special to all the boys, and for someone like Benji that's been away from it for 7 years, and I think everyone in the country knows how special that jersey meant to him at that time. Well, it hasn't changed. It's probably grown even more on him because he's very grateful to be able to have the opportunity to be doing what he's doing now. It's full credit to him. Clubland, he's worked really hard to be able to put himself into this position, and I thought he and Sean were able to steer the team around really well tonight, and young Brandon obviously helped out there, and to have someone like Roger out the back is pretty handy. So, but to see Benj enjoy that just says a lot about this group. I'm sure there were probably a few other tiers within that group as well. Young Britt Nakora, his first game, I thought he was outstanding. And you see a young kid like that come into this level, and he's got a lot of international football in front of him if he keeps going the way he's going. And young Jerome Hughes, I don't think he's played 9 at any stage, and he's got the world's biggest men running at him, and he jumped through his body in front and was able to then find himself a try. So, I guess I'm just pleased, but we also know there's a lot of work to do with the group.
Just on BG, what does the future look like for him in the black jersey? I mean, was this a one-off, or is it part of your plans at the end of the year?
Well, if he keeps doing that, there's no reason why he can't keep going. But I'm sure we'll have that conversation at some stage. And he's pretty focused on what he's doing back at Clubland as well. So all those sorts of things are in front of him, which is a great thing for him.
Michael, for Brisbane on debut against a tough challenge like Tonga, how much do you think helped with him having Sean Johnson inside in that whole game? They seem to run tram lines that they were obviously running in for another. Do you think that helped them feel more at ease on this stage?
Oh, definitely. I think, when you've got people like Sean playing next to him, Clubland, it definitely makes it easy. But I think it was just the group. The group made him feel that as well. The way the senior players got around him and the way he conducted himself when he first walked in. He's an impressive young man. So, look, I think that a lot of those things play a part.
There's obviously a lot of Tongan fans here tonight, and cheering for them. How easy or tough is it to block that out for the game?
We're all professional athletes, so you should be able to shut things out and be able to get on with your job. We're lucky to be able to play this game, and it was awesome to have the crowd there, and the way they were cheering was unbelievable. But it's not really once you're zoned in and focused. It doesn't worry you too much.
Apart from the focus though, what did you think of the occasion? What's it like to play in front of that crowd and that noise and everything else?
Yeah, it's amazing. I've said it all week. It's the supporters. They're just I think it's hard to put into words. You got to be here to experience it. So it was amazing to be a part of it again. But I just can't really put it into words of how amazing it was.
Michael, on the back of the Australian win last year, how far down the road do you feel you are where this team can go? How much improvement has the team got to do?
I think there's a lot. There's a hell of a lot, actually. The more time we spend together, the more I see them grow. So, as I sort of said, it's limitless of where you want to go. It's up to the group. That's the key where we are at the moment, is that the senior players, the more they want it and the more they want to be successful, this group's going to continually grow. I've got some, some very strong characters within the group, and their leaders within their clubs, which is a really impressive piece. From people like Jared to Jesse to Dallin, to Sean, they're all stepping up in their clubs and they're all playing well. And I'm looking forward to seeing them go back to Clubland and really perform now off the back of what we did tonight, and that's going to take us forward into where we want to go.
Michael, just back to Brandon, speaking to a few people close to him, he felt like he needed to repay the faith that you showed in him. A few people during the week pointed out that he hasn't been playing all for Melbourne. Just how do you think he handled that, and was it a tricky selection for you at all?
Not really, actually. I think Brandon's played a lot of 9 throughout his juniors. And I watched him come right through as a young bloke, and he was doing that. As he was coming through into grade. I guess he's just caught behind a pretty handy player, but in saying that, he's got a good teacher in front of him as well. So he's dealing with that every single day at training. So I knew when he was coming into camp here, he was ready to go. And I've obviously talked to Brandon over the year, and he's been doing a bit of practice in the background in that position. So I was very confident when I brought him in, and he definitely showed that.
And being behind camp, his play is starting to evolve.
Oh, definitely. I think off the back of his running game. I think Brandon's probably got a little bit more running in his game. So it's one thing I spoke to him about before the game, that he's got to remember that. And he did that off the back of our forwards moving forward.
Michael, how pleasing, you mentioned the guys on debut, but how pleasing that some of your best players tonight were guys maybe with less than 10 tests,
Yeah. Well, that's where we're going with the team. There's a lot of young kids, or young men, I should say, that are playing in Clubland at the moment that are going to be coming forward in this space, and young Britain is a great example of that. That we want to build depths in where we're going. Obviously, it's the build towards World Cup. but we've got a lot of things in front of us that we want to make sure that we get right first along the way. So every single time we step out, we want that jersey to be a winning jersey, and that's not from me, that's from the players. So it's about the players and what they want, and that's the reason why I see this group, build into something special.
And just on Brandon, I mean, was that a plan that you had for him to run often, or was that just instincts?
A bit of both, but I spoke to Brandon about you don't forget your running game. Sometimes I guess you can get caught behind someone like a Cameron Smith and you see the way he plays, but Brandon's got that run in him as well, so it was good to see that he did that.
I'll ask a couple of questions, guys.
Michael, obviously Roger Tuivasa-Sheck didn't play the backing last year with his injury. How did you find his reintegration into the international game?
Excellent. He's a pro. He's a pretty handy man to have a number one. And it's just the things that you don't see around what he does before you get to the game. It's all the little things that this group is continually building throughout each day that we have at camp. So to bring someone like Roger in, he's a leader and he's a captain of his club, and it's great to have him a part of what we're doing.
Alan, puts me maybe about mental information during the anthem and stuff, but he met the haka pretty well too tonight. How did that decision come about that Benji would do that, and how much did that sort of contribute to I guess tonight's performance, and the fact that Benji was there leading again from the front?
Yeah, to have Benji lead the haka was pretty special, and is pretty much a no-brainer. He was very keen to do it as well, and I'm pretty happy where I'm at the tip of the spear and leading that way. But to do a haka with Benji is pretty special.
Just on Benji and Sean, were you surprised at how well they clicked, given that playing together for 7 years? And the second thing, what were the main messages that you had to them over this week and before the game and that sort of thing?
Yeah, just do your job really and play your role, and they obviously showed that. But once they stepped into camp, you could see the connections that they had. You don't lose those connections when you've played at this level, even though it is 6 or 7 years ago. No doubt they connected pretty quick, and they gave a bit of cheek along the way. So I knew that they were ready to go.
Dylan, I just want to ask you about last night's jersey presentation. Quinton Ponga was talked about there.
Yeah.
Just how emotional was that, and what did it do for your preparation?
Yeah, that was something pretty special, something pretty powerful too. He's a great man, and we wore our black armbands for him today, and it was pretty powerful what we did yesterday. But might need to stop there, might get a bit emotional. But
You guys have talked a lot this weekend tonight about how tight this group is. Can you describe the feeling in the dressing room after a win like that, after such a performance like that?
Yeah, we're very, as we've touched on before, we've got leaders in the team. Everyone in our team's leading well, and I'm lucky enough to have the C next to my name, but I've always said it that there's so many leaders in this team that help out, and the vibe that we're getting at the moment is we just know that there's something special inside the group, and we've got to keep. The next job is going back to our club and continue to play well, and who knows what the team will be at the end of the year. But as we've said, the sky's the limit if we keep doing what we're doing.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Phil.
For Tonga, Trades happy for you all to, I'll let you guys go. For Tonga, Trades happy for you guys to go to the corridor, and Richard,